Back then they didn't want me, I'm blessed now. Talking to her like back then they didn't want me, I'm blessed now. Talking to her like back then they didn't want me, I'm back then they didn't want me, I'm back then they didn't want me, I'm blessed now. Talking to her like this. Talking to her like this. Talking to her like this.
And what is the deal? What is going on with all my people in the chat, man? You already know what time it is, man. You are back for another episode here of the Raider Rundown, man. And y'all seen the title, man. You already know what time it is. We are going through the top 10, well, my top 10 running backs in the NFL 2025 draft. Is some running backs that I hope that the Raiders do go ahead and target. Now, look, this is a Raider specific channel, but we talk about the draft too, man. So if you're tapping in from the draft or you just tapping in to just get some more insight on maybe who the Raiders can go ahead and select, definitely, man, go ahead and tap on that subscribe button. But without further ado, man, let's go ahead. Let's play this funky music and let's get into the top 10 running backs in the NFL draft. What is going on? What is the deal and what is happening with all my people, man? Make sure you guys are tapping on that like button and on that subscribe button. You already know what time it is, man. Today, we're going to be tapping in with some more draft content. We're going to be touching on some of the running backs that I think this is opinion based, number one, right? That I think are the top 10 running backs in the NFL draft. I think gonna come out and maybe do some things, man. You might hear some noise from them, man. This is my opinion, again, opinionated. But there might be some people in there, maybe some surprises, maybe some shakeups, but whatever the case, man, let's make sure we have some good conversation. And you already know what time it is, man. Make sure you're hitting all them buttons. But let's go ahead, let's get it started, man. Let's go ahead, let's get this thing cracking. So we're gonna go through, and I want to show some clips, but every time I show some clips on this mug, I end up getting clipped, right? So I want to show some, but let's hope I don't get clipped. But let's see. But let's go ahead and start the list off, man. We're gonna go 1 to 10, right? 1 to 10 because it's not really more surprises at the top. So we're gonna go ahead and start off. So our number one running back, right? So as y'all can see, we starting here. But before we continue, before we start that, let's just preface it by saying I think this class is crazy, right? This class is crazy. I think there are multiple running backs in this class that are going to have crazy careers, multiple running backs that are going to be very productive for whatever team that they get. I think we're gonna look back at this draft right here, and it's gonna be crazy. I ain't gonna lie. We're gonna see a lot of names that are very productive as the years continue. But first name that we're gonna go ahead and touch on, man, and that would be Ashton Jeanty, right? That's the number one running back on the board right now. And some of y'all may be like, oh my God, oh, he has number one. Bro, not once in all the evaluation that I've said have I said he's not a good running back, right? I do definitely believe he's a good running back. We're going through his profiles, though. It's 5'8", 211, more like 208, right? So not the biggest of frame. Runs a 4.4, but you can see it. He runs away from people on screen. I mean, superpower, bro, is that contact. Nobody's ever really to get a clean hit, and when you do kind of get a hit on him, he's able to bounce off that easy and maintain his balance, bro. He continues to do that time and time again. Not only that, he makes people miss in the phone booth. At the same time, there are multiple examples and multiple clips of him just making people miss, right? Like in tight quarters, whether that be in between blocks, setting up blocks, whatever it be, man. He's doing that. So I can't say enough about those things. You talk about some of the power that he does have, and it can be a little underrated, especially by me sometimes, where you look at his frame, you don't think he has that much power, but then you just look at the measurables and you say, he doesn't have that much. But then you look at how he's built, right? And we watched it at the pro day, at his pro day, but it showed immediately how thick in frame he is, pause. But how thick in frame he is, right? So you saw it immensely. I do think he's going to be productive. Now, the things for me, as we continue to highlight some of the positives, I'll go ahead and present some clips. If I get popped, just know it's going to be a lot of cutting of clips in the editing. All right, so let's hope not. But just presenting some of the positives, bro. He did everything you wanted him to do in his final season at Boise State, right? Again, elite contact balance. I think his vision is very good too. I'm not gonna lie to you. If we continue on the positives, bro, his vision is crazy. Well, to see a whole, like for example, usually in my expertise, you go right side be the even numbers, left side be the odd numbers, per standard. But either way, right? Some people flip it, but either way, he's able to. For example, if I say I see a hole at the 2 side or the 4 side, which is the even side, he's able to cut and see that hole open up backside on maybe the 3, right? Maybe the 1 or the 3 hole over there, bro. He's able to do that consistently, and that's a very elite part of his game, man. He wastes little movement when he's gliding towards those holes too, right? I just said he's moving from right to left. He wastes little movement when he's doing that, and then you can kind of attribute that to some of the size being really little lower in stature, so he doesn't have to take that much ground to do those much things, right? So for I really like some of the things he does. What he does offer, it's elite, right? What he does offer is elite. And also I think he's a good receiver, right? Now, when I preface that, yes, I do think he's a good receiver, but when we start talking about the weaknesses, that's when we start to get into that, right? So for me, the weaknesses are there, and I'm not saying these are things that are going to make or break this man's career. But if you're not looking at these things, I think it's disingenuous. Yes, the frame sometimes helps him in the smaller quarters and certain things, but I question if that frame will hold up for a 17-game season. I would like to see that in this type of physicality, right? I already saw how they was running him rampant at Boise State, and there was already a little wear and tear right? Going towards the end of that season, getting into Penn State. So just would like to see if how a team is going to use him. Are you going to use him 20, 25 carries, maybe 30 carries a game? Or are you going to try to limit that to, a little bit lesser carries or pass targets? I mean, how are you going to deal with that? Would like to see that. Again, now, I said he's a good receiver, but I don't think he's like Christian McCaffrey type of receiver, right? So I'm not going to get him out there and put him on slot routes and do things of that nature. That right there is just not in this game. It's more, the traditional running back routes, screens, swings, quick outs, setting the linebacker up, maybe running to Texas, some things of these natures. Maybe you a wheel, of course. You can do multitude things from the running back position, but I'm not going to just put him out there and be like, oh, yeah, bro, you're slot receiver. I'm going to give you a number of receiver routes, and that's what you're going to do. Like that's too much, right? Another, pass protection. It has to get better, right? Can it get improved? Yes, it can get improved. But as of right now, it's going to get exposed for the earlier part of the career. It will, until it gets better. There are times, bro, where he gets caught lacking with his technique, or it's just simple and plain. There's just not enough rocks in the pocket at the time. So it can be improved from a technique standpoint. But again, there's not much you're going to be able to do to build upon a 5'8", 2 whatever frame, right? So if there's concerns about really anchoring down and doing, then that's just going to remain there, right? That's just probably going to see gains a nice little 15, 20 pounds, bulks that up, and can still move the way he moves. And then at that point, there's not really concern. But as of right now, like in the earlier parts of the career, you got to talk about that, right? So that's immediate. Last but not least, bro, I don't think this is a pressing need, but if I'm going in the deep dive, which this is what we're doing right now, the ball security is a little bit of an issue. Little. It's not pressing, but there are times where he fights for yards and it's for the ball to get socked out, stripped out from him. Right now, he does not have the longest of arms or longest of wingspans. Right. At certain times, as a running back, when you do have longer arms, right, you're able to shield the ball a little bit better. As if you have a person with shorter arms, you're not really able to cover most. I mean, you can cover the surface of the ball, of course, but I mean, think about it. Longer wingspan, how much surface area are you covering of the ball? Shorter wingspan. Okay, so from there, right, like there are times where that can be exposed. Penn State did it. Number of other teams did it. Now, yeah, you can sit here and say there's 4 fumbles in the season. That's nothing, right? And understood, right? 4 fumbles in the season, that you can say, yeah, that's nothing. And real talk, like I said, it's not a pressing issue, but more of the thing is like the way that the fumbles are happening is the concern. It's more of the way it's happening, right? Like getting stripped out, getting socked out. Like not all fumbles are equal, but there are certain times where you look at a dude, and if there's a pattern with the fumbles that you watch, and most of the times it's more people clawing at it, raking it out, then it's like, all right, bro, that's a pattern that has to be corrected and fixed. I know there's a little stat out there. I think fumble percentage, he was near the lowest of it. I think it was a 1.4 fumble percentage, if I'm not mistaken. And before I continue to just talk on my ass, let me go ahead and look at it, because I know I reposted it. There we go. Go ahead, take a look at this. And this kind of represents, and we'll bring this up for all the chart. We'll bring this up for everybody, really, because this is a huge stat. But if you look, right, sitting there at 9th, it's a 1.4, right? And this has 3 seasons. So we're not just sitting here saying, like, this is this year, right? We're not like, oh, yeah, bro, this is just this year. And yeah, it's just he can correct it. Like, this is over the last 3 seasons. So this is data. So we can say, it's whatever, but fumbling is an issue that a lot of people don't think about until it is, right? And then when all of a sudden, when fumbling starts happening, now you don't want nobody to play. It's intriguing, right? So we have to preface these things. Now, this is not saying that this man is not a good running back. It's not saying that he's not the best in the class because he is, but yeah, there are certain things you got to talk about with that. So that's number one, right? That right there will be number one. Okay, so we go in there. Now we get to our number two running back. Not really surprise, right? Shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. The surprise starts after these, but we start with Omarion Hampton, right? That would be my number two running back out of this draft. And if we were able to get away with that, I think we sit away pretty, right? But if you're looking at him, bro, huge frame. If you're looking at 6 feet, 220, good profile, looking at 4.46, right? He ran a 4.4, 1,600 yards last year. To me, bro, I see a lot of Joe Mixon in the game. I see a lot of Joe Mixon in the game. Very, like, I see when he finishes, it's violent, right? He's trying to take contact to whoever's coming his way. And I love that. So that's consistently, you see that leg drive, he's always going to fall forward, right? That frame shows up every time he finishes a run. So he's always that extra 2 yards of contact. I really like that, right? I feel like he with the vision as well. Same thing kind of we talked about with Genty, maybe not on the level, but same thing with the vision, where natural with his field. And when I say like press field, like when a running back presses the line, bro, sometimes you got to press the line until the hole opens up, right? And then you're maybe able to get skinny through something, or maybe you're able to just see a crease and hit it there, bro. I mean, Genty and Omarion are very good at being patient enough and not wasting a lot of movement in seeing a certain hole, maybe it's backside, or maybe being patient to just wait up. Not wasting a lot of movement to just hit the hole, bro. So I think he hits these creases tremendously. And of course, once he gets downhill, right, with the frame, like we just said, violent finisher, that's when he starts showing some of the traits in the open field, right? You're not gonna want to hit that consistently, but then you see he has some of the elusiveness to get away from the outside. Now, I don't think he's the most elusive runner side to side, right? I don't think he's the quickest dude side to side. I think, once he gets downhill and he can break tackles and he does those things. And, there are certain occasions where he gets you and he can put the shake and bake on, but that's not the majority of what he's going to do in the open field, right? He's going to get that acceleration, 0 to 100, right? Once he gets that 0 to 100, now you got the train going forward, right? Arm tackles ain't going to do, right? He has a little jab step to his game, get out of there, but you're not going to get a lot of shake and bake and wiggle, right? Now, the difference that now I can highlight that we didn't highlight with Genty that you can highlight with him is that his pass pro is better. Now, I'm not going to say he's the best pass blocker in the class, because he's not. And there's another guy that we'll talk about there, but he's willing. And he sticks his nose in there, and he will lay some wood, but he will lay a motherfucker on his ass. Now, there are times where the technique can be better, right? But with that frame, we're not really too worried. I'm not really, him being a blocker and me being to say, like, there's going to be times where I might have to take you off the field in the earlier parts of your career, right? Like, I really don't think I have to worry about that. I think you can leave him out there and he's going to do what he do. Now, same thing as Genty. Again, contact balance with him is crazy. He has crazy contact balance. And for his size, it's kind of wild the way he maneuvers through contact. It is kind of wild, bro. But some of the weaknesses that you can, he will lower his shoulder. He will lower his shoulder and get the contact. But when he's getting through the hole, he has a tendency to stand, and sometimes when you stand up, it takes more movement to and go back down, whether to just stay low, skinny, boom, and keep going. And that's the thing with Genty, where if you talking about the comparisons, the frame helps. We already low. right? So it's easier for me to keep going here, make people miss in the phone booth, bounce off something here, and keep going. Whereas 6 feet, you got if you're going up and you got to keep doing this, that's more movement wasted, right? So, I think there are times he can get better at that for sure. Maximizing his power, right? Just maximizing the power, and then after that, pass protect again. Like I said, but it's not the best. So there are times where his technique must be better, right? Technique got to be better. When we talk about that, sometimes hands get outside. Not really the best technique. You always want that. Always, everybody talking about the football acumen, right? Everybody that's played football, know what time it is, bro. When you talk about blocking, you got to get your hands where inside in the pass, right? So there are times he gets them outside, but that's just technique shit. Again, I think you can correct that, especially with the frame. I think that's easily correctable, especially if you have the willingness. Now I think I already highlighted some of this. I kind of went through the weaknesses and strengths, but I do think he's a good open field runner in the sense of like contact. He's gonna bring that to whoever's coming to him. But again, like I just said, he's not the shiftiest of people. So he's not the most creative runner in the open field. He's not gonna shake and bake. He's not gonna pull the Saquon. He's not gonna do certain of these things. He's not that laterally quick, right? But again, you get him in the open field, he'll give you a little jab step, you a little stutter here and there. But more times than not, he's looking for that contact. Not the strongest of receivers, right? If you're talking about like of this running back class, he's not the strongest of receivers. So that's something that, again, if you're talking about his route tree, you're giving them just pure running back routes, swings, outs, things of that nature. But it'll all go to work. It'll all work out eventually. So, but again, he's not Christian McCaffrey. So, and is he the fastest downfield? I think his long speed is pretty good. There are some people that question that, but to me, I think his long speed is good enough. Not really gonna have to worry about that in the league. So, that's Omarion Hampton for me, man. Number 2. I think he is the second best running back in his class. Probably, if you're talking about Genty, we already know first round. Hampton, he's probably getting pushed up boards, I'm hearing. So he's probably going to go up first round. If he don't, it's early second at the latest. But those are first round dudes for sure. And now we get into the guys that are kind of pushed down the second to third round, but this is maybe early second now. Early second round. Depending on how the running backs are falling, bro, you might have to push these guys up the board. But this is where things get spicy, right? My number 3 running back on my board is Quinshon Judkins, man. Quinshon Judkins is my number 3 running back on my board, bro. And I know some people may not agree. Some people may, have his teammate ahead of him. And we'll talk about him soon. But for me, I think this dude's going to have a good career if he lands where we're in the right spot. If he lands with us, especially the Raiders, I think he's definitely going to make some noise, bro. I mean, if you look at it, he's 6 foot 221, right? So 6 foot 220. Ran at the combine a 4.4, and you saw that speed on display during the season. Things I like about him, even when he came into a backup role, quote unquote, or a split role, quote unquote, with Travion Henderson, probably averaged about 15 carries a game. You still got 1,000 yards from him, right? And now some people may say, but that was just this year. But remember, Judkins probably was the best running back in the SEC at Ole Miss before he left. If not the best, he was one of the best running backs in the SEC, right? So last year was not the first year he had production. When he was at Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin, his freshman year, he had 1,500 yards, right? So that's from there. After that, followed that up with 15 touchdowns in 13 games the following season. Then came to Ohio State and then performed the way he performed, right? That we all saw on display. I think I'm going to be a broken record saying this because a lot of these guys have this trait, bro. But his contact balance is crazy too. I think he's able to hit off hits or get off hits, keep his balance, and continue to move forward. Now, I think there's times where, and we'll talk about that with the weaknesses, where sometimes arm tackles, he goes down off arm tackles sometimes. But I think obviously we can work on those things, man. Continue with the power. I think we continue as he continues in the weight room, continues with his leg drive, bro. He's already got the frame. I think that won't be a concern if he continues to go in the weight room and continues to elevate his game. But real uncanny ass ability at his size to see cutback lanes and hit them at lightning speed quickness. Like, when I mean, dog, like there are times, bro, again, he's 220. And there are times where he sees the hole and there's minimal friction in the feet, bro, when he's moving to another spot. If I see a hole this way, bro, I mean, them feet is pop, pop, and then they go to the next hole, right? Like he wastes little movement when he's cutting back, bro. There are times where he sees a cutback lane, and it does be uncanny, bro. He sees a cutback lane, it barely opens up. Bang, take them maybe 2 steps, boom, and we right there, right there, and the acceleration to get through as well. I like that too, bro. I think also his stiff arm, he got a nasty ass stiff arm, bro. I haven't talked about it a lot. I think Genty and Omarion got that too, but I think his stiff arm is nasty as fuck too. He brings some violence with it, right? Like it's almost like a boxer jab, where this motherfucker it's ill intent with it, right? Like there's some dudes, bro, sometimes, but for me personally, like I'm using this down here, dog, this palm, that real hard shit, dog, and I'm getting all up under this chin. Because you bring that with ill intent, bro, that's gonna throw a motherfucker off every time. It just is, right? That's sometimes somebody will fight through it. It is what it is, but you gonna feel that. You gonna feel that. I'm jabbing you up. That's just what it is, bro. He brings that with ill intent. So I like that. There are just things he does with violence, right? Like you just watch him play and he's doing shit violent. He's running violent. He's catching the ball violent. He catching that bitch violent. He also pass protects violent, bro. Everything he does, everything. And I like that. But I think his vision is underrated as well. I think a lot of people don't really talk about his vision, but I think his vision is nice, bro. I think he consistently finds cutback lanes. He consistently finds the creases, and he hits those. Like I said, he goes ahead and accelerates real quickly through those holes, bro. I think there are multiple times on display at Ohio State last year. Again, there are times where he might go down off arm contact, and I think that's something he does have to get better at. But I do see the willingness of the leg drive, right? There's going to be some leg drive with him. He's not just going to get stopped. He's going to stop his feed and things of that nature. I do think there are times of leg drive there, and when he does end up getting stopped, and there are times where guys end up stopping the momentum at times. You're not seeing him just stop his feet and basically give up on the play. I think there are times you do see the consistent leg drive, trying to fight for yards, trying to get the extra 2 to 3. His hands are better than Omarion Hampton's, in my opinion. I think they're better. I think he can be a better receiver than Omarion Hampton. That might be, so a real divisive topic for some people, but I think he's a better receiver, and I think he can be a better receiver. I think I can use him more if I'm talking about running routes. I think I can use more on a different tree than I would be able to use Hampton. So that would be the difference for me. To me, and at the same time, bro, I think his another ball security is elite, right? His ball security is elite. And I highlight this again because this is a very, very important topic to me, dog. Again, fumbling ain't an issue until it is. If you look, where is he on the list, bro? Number 2, right? I think and this is going through 3 seasons. This is not just Ohio State. This is going back to Ole Miss as well. So there is signs, and you're looking at it. There is evidence of him holding football. So I really like, and you definitely see him all the time, bro. He's always holding that motherfucker high and tight too. So I really like Judkins as far as what he can bring, bro. What he can bring, I think he can really, really come in and make some noise his first year. And another reason on my list, bro, this is a Raider channel at the same time, dog. So for me, like this man, if we were to get him, he's with Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly already knows his strengths. We already saw him and what he can do in the 15 average carries that he got per game this season with Chip Kelly. I would like to see that recreated. I definitely would like to see that recreated. We have Raheem Mostert. I think that he would pair very well with Raheem. He would pair very well. And if Chip is gonna do what he normally does, which is a two-back system, and maybe one back gets 15, whatever carries here, the other gets 10 to 12, that plays out, right? I think it plays out. Now, some of the weaknesses, I don't think he has the top-end speed of Omarion. I don't think he has the top-end speed of, of Genty, if you're talking about that. There are times like, he runs a 4.4, but in the game, right, it's always different. Game speed, 40 speed, it's all different. You see Genty running away from people. You see sometimes Hampton running away from people. With Judkins, there are times too, but more than likely he's not really running away from people and doing that and pulling away from DBs and things of that nature. So that's something right there that you got to talk about. He is not as loose in the hips as Genty or Hampton is. Now, Hampton, like I said, he's not the most creative runner in the open field, but he is still fluid to a degree. With Judkins, he's not as fluid as them two, right? He's not. Side to side, the hip stiffness in some of it. Now, when I say his feet are lightning quick, they are, right? When I'm talking about the bop and being able to go to another hold, maybe that you saw from your left, whatever side eye vision, you can do that, right? But there are times, right? There are certain ways that a person can move that can limit space as well, and that you can tell like how fluid they are, right? Like with Genty, there are times like when he's cutting back, and hopefully I can preface this the right way, and I'm trying to say this the right way where it makes sense. But like when he's cutting back, it's not more of the feet chopping and then turning this way, right? It's more of, and when I say that boom, boom, and turning that way, it's more of taking my hips, taking my feet, I'm gliding right to the hole, and then I accelerate through, right? So if I'm going to my even side, 2, 4, 6, I'm going over here and I'm cutting back to my 1, 3, 5, right? If I'm here, I see a lot of times Genty's able to take that, boom, glide here, and it's more of a jump. Again, jump cut, it's more of a glide. With Quinshawn's jump cut, it's more of a boom, boom, boom. That's where it is, where it's not as fluid as it can be. It's more of I gotta chop it where the feet are quick, and he's able to get away with it sometimes, but it's gonna limit him. It's gonna limit him at times in the league. Whereas if I have to do this and turn, whereas instead of doing all this turning, I'm really bang, bang, turn, boom. Right? I'm damn near square the whole time. Right? I'm damn near square the whole time. So there are times I think, that can limit him. But I may think that I put him 3, and then we're gonna have a conversation after this. It's because of the frame, right? We're going back to the strengths a little bit. Because of the frame, bro, I think he has the ability to be a 3-down back. Right? I think you're rarely gonna have to take him off the field. And that's gonna be right where that is into some of my evaluation where I'm like, man, what the Raiders need, yes, we do need somebody that's going to help split carries, but we really need a dude that we can rarely take off the field for real. We need that alpha at running back, and everybody knows it. We all do. Now, does that necessarily have to show up with Genty? That's a whole different conversation. But with Judkins, I think there's very little times where you have to take him off the field. He can block, he can catch. The running is there. I think we have everything we would need there. But then you would go with, you know, what are you asking him to do? Right? What are we asking these running backs to do? What is Chip wanting to do? Does he want that bell cow, or does he want the 15 split carry type of running back? And I think if we're gonna do that, I think Judkins would be that guy to do that. So again, man, there are some weaknesses with Judkins. Again, that his top end speed is limited. That he is a little tight. He's not as hip fluid as some of the other two guys that I just named right here, or maybe even the guy that I have after. Right? Now, maybe even the guy that I have after. Not as and sometimes he can be overly patient. I will say that he can be overly patient for a hole. He has this uncanny ability to see the hole, but sometimes his ass try to bell it, and it'd be too patient. But in saying all that, and even when I talk about this next dude, I think it all comes down to, I think he has the ability to be a 3-down back, and I think he can go in there, and you rarely have to take this dude off the field. Coming into the league, like, yes, you can split carries with somebody, but he beat alpha. Right, so that's my number 3. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button too, man. Make sure you guys are hitting that like, hitting that subscribe button, man. Definitely gonna be one of the ones for sure, man. But appreciate everybody for tapping in. My next running back that I do have, man, and we are gonna go with Travion Henderson. Right, Travion Henderson is my number 4 running back. Now, a lot of flip-flopped. A lot of people, either one. I'm gonna be honest with you. Either one that we took, it doesn't really matter to me. Either one that we took, it doesn't really matter. I like them both. But if you had to ask me which one I would like Judkins first. But then going into my number 4, bro, right behind Henderson. And my shout out to my boy Zamir, Chris, and all them. They'll definitely they're gonna get a kick out of this one. But either way, man, 5'10", 202. So damn near the same measurables as Genty. But there are some things to talk about with him that he that are kind of similar, man. I think his acceleration, and this is where we talk about the difference of all backs. His acceleration and his speed is different. He has home run ability, right? That Judkins does not have. He has that home run ability that you saw in multiple examples, multiple games, where if he has that crease, he's outrunning DBs. He's easy money. His tempo behind the blocks is very good too. He knows how to set up his blocks. He knows how to be patient behind the hole. I don't think it's as good as Judkins as being patient and really seeing that hole and having that uncanny jump cut ability. But I think in the open field, he's a better runner when it comes to that, right? When it comes to that, he'll explode through the hole. When he has that crease, he explodes through. But in the open field, bro, he's better, right? He's more creative. And that comes with the fluidity with him. He's more fluid than Judkins, and I will give him that. In one-on-one situations, bro, if you're talking about a linebacker trying to cover this or trying to tackle this man one-on-one in the open field, safety trying to tackle this man in the open field, lunch meat, it's over, right? Like that shit's not happening, bro. So I think that's something that he has that's different from Judkins. Next thing, we could talk about this, bro, and this is easy money if everybody knows this. He's the best pass blocker in this class by far. By far. He is the best pass blocker in this class. And all at 5'10", 202, right? He is laying motherfuckers down. So, and this is against Big Ten competition. So we can't say, oh, this ain't nothing. Nah, bro. He's Michigan and all these extra schools, bro. He's laying motherfuckers down. And he's doing it consistently. And this is one-on-one. This ain't no help, right? Sometimes he ain't getting no help, dog. We getting blitzers. And I got to lay a motherfucker on his ass. And he's going to do that, right? So, boom, love that. Another trait that they all share, contact balance, stupid, right? Contact balance is stupid. So I really, really like what he can do through traffic, going through there. Now, there are times where, I think we'll talk about that with the weaknesses where the frame going through traffic, it's hurt a little bit, but he is able to off defenders. And certain times, right? I will say this. Certain times, this is a different trait. This is where I struggle with Judkins at times, but it is what it is, where it's like he doesn't really go off arm tackles like that. He really don't, right? He really don't go off arm tackles like that, but at times, right, you can see where the leg drive is different, I think, from Judkins to Henderson, where Judkins has that frame where, yeah, he does get knocked off sometimes by the arms, but he drives his legs and he has that power to do that, where I don't think Henderson has that. And we'll talk about that in the weakness. But I think definitely has some of that balance where if you're in open field, it's not going to be first contact. I just said it, right? Well, it's not going to be first contact. If it's a linebacker trying to come tackle this man, or it's a safety trying to come tackle this man in the open field, it's a wrap. Like, that's not going to happen. But good pass catcher as well. I think a good receiver. Another good receiver. Am I going to ask him to do like Christian McCaffrey routes? No, but what he can do as a receiver, I don't think I don't have to limit his route tree all the way, right? I don't have to limit his route tree all the way. I'll be able to get some things off of him. If I'm talking about, I can send him out on the swing. I send him out on the screen. I send him out on the out, up, whatever the case. Maybe I'll be able to put him in the slot and do a couple like that. I don't think first year I'll be able to do that immediately, where I'm like, just get in the slot and run certain routes. But if I send him out there against a linebacker one-on-one or whatever the case, I think he'll be able to Zamir Gibbs type some shit where it's like, you're not really covering this dude one-on-one on certain routes, bro, if I get you in the open field. So I definitely think I can do that. Zamir Gibbs type of role. There we go. If I can give him the long story short, if I can give him the goddamn Zamir Gibbs role, where there are certain routes where I can give you, if I flex you out and you're getting covered by a linebacker, I think he can do that for sure. Now his lateral quickness is, again, I highlighted, it's different. It's not like Judkins. Judkins is a little, his lateral quickness is different. So he's able to be really quick side to side. His bop, 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 that shit right there, bro, is lightning quick. So there are very little instances where the feet stay stuck in the mud, bro. Very little instances. Now this is where we get to the weaknesses. For me, bro, this is where I will highlight, I put Judkins ahead of him. I don't know if he can be a 3-down back. Now, I think that he can be a very good back, 2-down back, right? Or maybe even not even just 3rd down. I don't think you just use my 3rd down. He's too good for that. But I think you're going to have to use him with somebody. You're going to have a bigger body guy, right? I don't think there's an instance where I'd be able to say, like, this is the guy in 2020 is a game. Like, that's not going to happen with him. I think you got to use him at the 12 to 15 carry per game range, and use him in the pass game. Like that'll keep him fresh. There are times at Ohio State, bro, where like before Judkins out there's a reason Judkins had to go over there or went over there, and decided to get some carries, because there are durability concerns before Judkins was there in this last year. So, and again, that plays into the frame 5'10". So there are times adds another 20 pounds. We ain't got to worry about that. But you have to talk about that going into the league, bro. We're consistently going against 22, 35-pound running or linebackers each week. So, and that's not even counting the DNs you got to block. So there are times you got to think about that. Can't get too fancy, right? I think he can get, for as good as he is laterally and as good as he is lightning quick, there are times he gets too fancy in the backfield. And this is where I talk about the power in the leg drive with Judkins, where, sometimes, he can get stopped off, but, that leg drive is going to be there. Where with Henderson, like sometimes he gets too fancy with the flashy shit, right? And then that sometimes limits the power. Now, again, I do think he is one of the better blockers in this class. But the frame is going to get him in trouble, of course, because the frame is the frame, bro. 5'10", 208, like it is what it is. You're not going to be able to fix that unless you like completely overhaul some shit, but you're not going to be able to completely fix that. So that's just going to be something where bigger defenders, bigger rushers, and this is more scheme thing where it's like, if I can get my bigger D end or bigger linebacker to get on him, I know he can block, but, certain matchups are going to give him trouble. So that's what you're going to do. And there are certain times where he does bounce too quickly, I think, where he's like, you're going to bounce the hole and not really press in there. You know what I mean? He's going to sit there and try to get to the outside and get into the open field more than he is try to press into the hole and get net contact. So again, um, now I did say that I think I would be able to give him a Jameer Gibbs type of role. But nobody's in this class is Christian McCaffrey. I think I say that the whole thing. Nobody in this class is Christian McCaffrey, where you're really putting him out there and putting him in the slot route, and they're running outs and comebacks and all this extra shit and doing, in routes and certain shit. No, they're not doing that. But I do think that you be able to do some things with him like Jameer Gibbs, where if he's spread out wide, bro, like he's gonna do a linebacker filthy. So that's just me. But that would be my number 4 running back here, man. So let me know how y'all feel, man. I mean, we're going it's a real deep dive, man. Real deep dive. So that is my number 4 running back. My number 5 we're going into, man. This is a guy I really liked early in the process. Really, really liked. But I think now, I just look at what other people offer, and I think maybe they offer a little bit more, but I still like you, man. And that's Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, man. I really still like Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. Now, the thing about him is, and the reason why he's 5 now, is that I think most of the dudes on this list that were before him maybe have a higher ceiling. But offers, I think, is a very, very comfortable floor as far as what he can be as a running back. Now, if we want to talk about Le'Veon Bell tempo in the whole, like, this dude's probably one of the better running backs in here at really being patient, right? Like, he's probably one of the better ones in the class at being patient. When he sees the crease and he finally is patient enough to see that open up, bro, when he puts his foot in the ground, it's dirty. He puts his foot in the ground, it's dirty. And when he gets that open field and this straight line speed, bro, good night, right? Good night. I love his natural, like, forward running style, low key. Like, some dudes just run, kind of lean forward a little bit. And, with his frame, I didn't really highlight it, but he's 6'1", 224, right? When you get a guy that's already that big and he's for contact and he's looking for violence, he's going to fall forward, right? Consistently turning maybe 2-yard gains to 5-yard gains, and he's going to do that. Again, patience with his vision. And if he gets in the zone blocking scheme, bro, he's going to be disgusting. For example, he gets in a 49er type of scheme. Disgusting, right? But the way he sets up blocks, the way he's subtle at his size at doing it, I think he's real good at that, bro. I think he's able to really, really determine where he wants to go. And then sometimes I think in this evaluation, I think you can get fooled by how, like, smooth he is. I think he's real smooth, bro. Real smooth. At just setting up his blocks, at just his running style, everything about him is smooth, right? Real impressive burst through the hole. I think he has reliable hands in the traditional running back sense. Outs, quick outs, whatever the case. So there's that. But another thing I like, man, you got to talk about, bro, like Iowa is Iowa. Iowa didn't really have no pass game, bro. So you're already seeing he can carry the load as far as what is asked of him in the running back room. If you need a guy that you want to give the 20 to 25 carries to, and you're foreseeing that, this is your guy, right? I think this would be your guy. So I think Caleb Johnson can be a 3-down back for sure. Coming into the league, he has the frame to do it, has the size, has the speed to do it. But some of the weaknesses are there, right? Now, I say he has the speed. Yes, it's good speed, but it's not Travion Henderson speed. We're not home. Is good. He's going to accelerate, but safeties, DBs are going to catch him. Now, for his frame, he's not the best pass blocker, and that's crazy to me, right? Like, for his frame, he's not the best. Now, he can do it. There's a willingness. There's a definite willingness, but the technique needs to definitely get better for where he is. It can get better for sure, because he has the size to do it. But yeah, I thought he would be a better pass blocker than what going in. I thought he'd be a better pass blocker. Not really creative after in the open field. right? If we're talking about like once he gets out of there, there's not a lot of once he gets through a hole, there's not a lot of shaking bacon. There's not a lot of oh man, like I'm gonna make this dude miss and I'm gonna cut here and do all that. Like it's maybe one cut here, try to make a dude miss, but it's more straight line more than anything, right? Again, route tree, it's gonna be you can look at it as a negative or a positive, bro. You're just giving him traditional running back routes. You're not gonna give him anything special. And you know, he's not the quickest lateral running back in this class either. So the lateral quickness is lacking from Caleb at times too. But again, I do think he has the ability to be a 3-down back, right? He has the ability to be a 3-down back, and we get him in the right system, and you get his system, or you get the blocking, right, to where it kind of hones in on his skill set. You'll have a very, very good running back, in my opinion. Now, this is where we get spicy, man. So make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We done already gave you 5 of the running backs, man. We done gave you 5 of them. So while we doing that, man, make sure you guys keep tapping in with the like, keep tapping in with the subscribe button, man. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. As y'all know, this is a pre-recorded episode, but it's always fun, man, to be talking that ball, man, with my people, man. So y'all already know what time it is, and make sure y'all comment down below, man, how you feel about 1 through 5 so far. Any changes? What would you do? Let me know. So now we get to my number 6 running back in the class, RJ Harvey, man. RJ Harvey from UCF. He is my number 6 running back in this class, bro. And it was damn near, and it hurt me. It pained me because it was a coin flip, and it just went down to personal preference. But it's a coin flip between him and Caleb. Coin flip between him and Caleb, dog. I really like RJ Harvey, dog. And I don't know if he's being talked about enough. Right? I don't think he's being talked about enough, dog. I think he's better than what people are really giving him credit for. He went to the combine. Now, obviously, his size again presents another problem. 5'8", 205, where you say, can we give him 20, 25 carries? Maybe not. Maybe. But he shouldered that type of load at UCF, right? And he's very put together as well. If you look at him, he's put together. Showed out at the Senior Bowl, did his thing at the Senior Bowl, in my opinion. And he's really, really quick, bro. He's really quick for his size, dog. Like elite lateral quickness with this motherfucker. If you look at him make a jump cut, that shit's flash, bro. Like that shit's right there, bro. Consistently, he makes people miss in that phone booth too. And it's the same thing kind of I talked about with maybe Henderson Genty as well, where he's 5'8". The frame, you look at him, bro, he's not the biggest of guy, but that helps, right? That always helps when you don't have to maybe be a bigger guy and bring up all this weight and drop it back down where it's already all my weight is proportioned, right? In the lower center of gravity. So all I got to do is continue to move side to side. And that's usually what happens with some of the shorter running backs. Right, you're usually quicker, laterally as it goes. But he makes people missing that phone booth, bro. In that phone booth, he makes people missing that. So his contact balance again, bro. I mean, all these guys have exceptional contact balance. It's kind of wild, but continues through traffic, right? Continues through traffic. Doesn't really go down off first contact like that. And again, that's some of that stature. When he has home run ability. He has home run ability too. And it displayed it really popped for me at the combine where you saw him run that 4.4, right? You saw him run that 4.4, but then, and it was a 4.40, right? So 4.40 right there close to the 4.39. But yeah, when you go back and watch him, you're like, damn, he's pulling away from people, bro. Like, and he is. Right, he is pulling away from people. I think he has exceptional vision, bro. Exceptional vision. Very, very good vision. Now I don't think it's the best of the class, but I think it's very good in some of the and what would be asked. I think he's very like if he would have come here with Chip, I think he'd be able to fit with Chip. Can be a receiver, can be a good receiver. Now, again, not Christian McCaffrey, not running all that, but are we talking about what he can do as a receiver out the backfield, bro. He can offer some high end receiving traits out the backfield with that speed, right? With that lateral quickness, you'll be able to do a lot of things with him, especially if you get him one on one in the open field, bro, with certain matchups. You'll be able to do something. Again, now this is the thing. I talked about the frame. Can I give him 20 to 25 carries in a game? That's the question. But then that question is kind of answered when you look at his production, bro. I mean, like at UCF, he was being used like a workhorse back. So has the durability, no real injury concerns. So you can have the question. I have the question, but then you look and it's like, well, you know, it's showing that he at least has that track record of doing it. So can you depend on that? Will you ask him to do that in the league? Depends on the team, but he has the track record, right? Ball security. Another thing where you're looking, bro, he doesn't really have a lot of fumbles either. Right? I continue to talk about it, bro. Ball security is a problem, is not a problem until it is. So, I've rarely seen instances of him put the ball away. You look at the numbers, doesn't really have a lot of fumbles either. So I think especially with his workload, right? With the workload that he had at UCF, not really having that many fumbles, it's very interesting, right? And then you talk about home run ability, bro. I mean, he's a threat to score damn near every touch if you get him the right type of blocking, right? So weaknesses, man, kind of undersized again. Sometimes can dance too much and be a little bit too patient, be a little too jittery back there. So that can get that. Pass protection is not that all that great. So that's why that kind of narrows that down, right? Like his pass protection is not the best. Now that goes into the frame. So then at times are you gonna say, like, I'm gonna have to take him off the field? So as of right now, like earlier parts in the career, you're gonna take him off the field, like as far as the pass blocking. But we'll see as the career continues. But yeah, definitely gonna struggle with that for immediate. And I don't think has the ideal power, in certain situations. Now I think his quickness is crazy, but once he gets stopped, and once kind of the legs get to stop churning, there's really no leg drive, right? There's really no leg churn, in my opinion. Where he's really gonna try to fight for that extra 2-3 yards, right? Turn that into a 2-yard gain to a 5-yard gain. So, there's RJ Harvey in a nutshell, right? And I'm gonna kind of run through a little bit more of these to get towards the end, but that's RJ Harvey in a nutshell, man. And I do think when you get him, he's probably not going to be used as an every down back, but he can be. There's potential to be. We'll see where he goes and how a team uses him, but there's potential for him to really make some impacts as well if he goes to the right situation, especially if he's not really asked to shoulder the load. But they give him good touches. Yeah, he can make some noise first year. Now, next guy that we have on the list, man, real polarizing figure. And that is Cam Skattebo, right? Cam Skattebo out of Arizona State is my number 7 ranked running back on the board. Now, the reason he's 7, you talk about the long speed that kind of limits him, right? And you talk about certain things in the athletic department that will limit him, especially above some of the other 6 guys that we just mentioned. But what he possesses, it's special, dog. So 5'10", 219. So you look at him, real good frame, right? But transferred from Sacramento State, didn't know that. But some of his strengths, bro, I mean, dog. I mean, do we even gotta mention it, dog? When we talk about that contact balance, we gotta say it again. Do we even gotta mention that with Cam Skattebo? When you see this man, bro, he bounces off 3, 4, 5 tackles, dog, and is still churning the legs. It's impressive to see. Very impressive to see. Pinball like, right? The way he's able to just continue to bounce off people and still keep his balance. It's wild. I know there was a run. I forget the school where The man is damn near 2 inches off the ground and holds himself up with his arm and stays up. And I think he damn near scores. That I'm like, dog, it's very, very crazy. Some of the shit he does off of contact. There's rare times where I see just one person. There's not gonna be no one person that brings him down on that film. I didn't see that most times, bro. Broke. I think if I'm looking at this here, I wrote this down. I saw this somewhere else too, bro. But I think he broke 12 tackles one game, dog. 12 tackles. That is insane. And that's something where, he doesn't really have the long speed, but I think it's going to translate. I think I even saw a clip of him in high school doing the same thing. Bouncing. So what that tells me is like, that's part of the repertoire, bro. Like that's the game. That shit's going to translate. Because if I'm seeing it throughout your entire high school, college, bro, like that's something that he will be able to do going in. Now at the level of success, we'll be able to see because these are bigger dudes, but he's going to have some success doing that, bouncing off people and maintaining balance and still getting extra yards off of that. Patient runner to me, bro. Like I think he sets up his blocks very well, and I think it's kind of underrated. His vision is underrated. I think he sees holes very well at times, bro. Now is he the best one? No, but I think his vision is kind of underrated by some people, bro, where they don't really talk about that as being kind of like a strength, but he sets up blocks and he's able to really pinpoint a hole and get skinny sometimes through it. So I really like that as far as Scatterbo's game. Better receiver than people may realize as well. Better receiver. People don't give him all that credit, but I think he's a great receiver coming out of the backfield. Arizona State sent his ass on routes, man. They sent his ass on routes. Now, are they going to do that in the league? I don't know, but they sent him deep, right? His ass was out there, slot receiver, getting busy. So I don't know what he'll do in the league, bro, but he was out there running some routes, bro. So I think a very underrated receiver as well that most people ain't talking about. And the energy. When you see your running back bounce off 4 tackles, the stadium going wild, the sideline, the everything going wild, it brings that juice. It brings that shit, right? Like that's where football get fun. You feel what I'm saying? Especially like if you're watching it or whatever the case, bro. Like you see somebody bounce off tackles the way he does, bro. That just lights up the whole stadium, lights up the whole team, everything, bro. So I think he has that one ability. Like it's kind of a crazy trait, bro. Where like sometimes your running back is charged with bringing the spark. You saw it with Marshawn at times, right? Where it's like, all right, bro, just bounce off a couple tackles, bro. Give us that one. Give us that beast mode one time, bro, and that's gonna activate us, right? Like he has that ability in his game. And it's kind of and sometimes like, and you be like, man, that's don't really mean nothing, but like sometimes like, bro, like they don't come around too often, right? Really don't come around too often. When I'm looking at it, I'm like, bro, I'm looking at my running back set the tone, bro. Saquon sets the tone over there, right? In a different way for Philadelphia. But that's when, bro, we see you shaking bacon, shake somebody out their shoes. Then we all get excited. But this right here, bro, it's a whole different. That's a level of physicality, bro, right there. I like that from him. But things that I talked about with the other guys that I think is a little different from Scatterbo, and I'm going to go ahead and put this up on the screen because we have to talk about this. This is an issue. Ball security is going to be an issue for Scatterbo as well, man. You look at him, he's sitting right above Ashton Jeanty, right, at 1.1% fumble rate over the last 3 seasons, bro. So that's high. 10 fumbles over the last season as well. 10 fumbles over the last season as well. And that can stem from what we just talked about, bro, the contact balance. We just talked about the unwillingness to go down, unwillingness to say, okay, well, I'm not going off of first contact. That can get you in trouble sometimes. So 10 fumbles over the last season, you see this fumble rate, bro. Like that's an issue that will have to be corrected coming into the league, bro. You got to correct that. Long speed It's not good, right? I mean, we talk about what it is, bro. I mean, it is what it is. And we knew that coming in. Like, he's not going to be the home run hitter that, that all the other guys may be, or some of the other guys we just talked about. He's not going to do that. So that's obviously going to be, part negative on there. Some of the workload as well. We talked about this with Genty, but Arizona State kind of ran his ass into the ground at the same time too. So it's like, is there wear and tear? So you got to talk about that. And then next thing, not last, first before the last, pass protection is inconsistent. Not as good as I thought it would be. Not as good as I thought it would be coming from such physical of a runner, right? So I think his pass protection can definitely get better. And sometimes he can be too dancy as well, right? Sometimes it's just like, dog, hey, you can run through a motherfucking face, right? We all know that. Sometimes that's what you do. Now, he can protect himself a little bit more with some of the contact, but yeah, sometimes it gets too dancy for his size, bro. Like, let's just go ahead and let's play. Let's run through a motherfucking face, right? So that would be my number 7 running back, man, Cam Scatterbo. I love Scatterbo. If we were to get him, but I don't think he's better than the 6 other guys there on the board. So next name here that we have, man. Maybe a surprise, maybe not, but I really like this guy, man. I don't know if he has 3 down potential, but I know he can be very, very productive. And that is Devin Neal, man, out of Kansas. He is my number 8 running back on my board, man. I really like what Devin Neal offers, man. I mean, first glimpse I saw of Devin Neal was against Colorado, right? First glimpse I saw against Devin Neal was against Colorado, and he killed their ass, dog, single-handedly. 5'11", 213, so has good size, real, not bad, right? Put together well. His first step, right, is crazy. When he sees a hole, dog, it's there, bro. There's no wasted movement. We're not taking pitter patters sometimes, bro. Like, we're there. We're gonna turn, maybe a minimal gain into a chunk gain every time by just how quick he hits the hole, right? Just how quick he hits the hole. Very natural zone runner too. I think he's natural with it. We were to get him, I could see him fitting with some zone scheme as well. His one cut ability, again, like we just talked about, that lightning quick shit, be able to shine if you get him in the zone scheme, in my opinion. He lets his blocks, he's patient enough to let his blocks develop, not as patient as some of the other guys, but I think he's patient enough to let his blocks develop, bro. Hits the gas when the crease does appear, though. He has the ability to hit that gas. But if we continue, bro, I think he's real fluid when he changes directions, bro. I think he's real fluid when he changes directions. I think he's not as tight as some other guys may be. So I think again, 5'11", his agility is very good at 5'11", right? When he goes side to side, bro, I think he's very good at making some of these side to side cuts, bro. Wastes little movement, very quick when he doesn't. Ball security is another thing where Kansas was trying to run into the ground too, bro. He was damn near Kansas's offense at times, especially after that Colorado game. I went back and watched more. I'm like, yeah, bro, he's the offense at times. And still, you look at this fumble rate, 4th on the list here, right? And I didn't even bring this up for Quinshawn. Didn't even bring this up for see them. Travion is 0%. Quinshawn 0.37. And I think I did. But either way, Devin Neal, we're sitting there at a 0.74% over the last 3 seasons. So off of the workload that he got, didn't really give up the ball too bad, right? Did not give up the ball too bad at his size. So that is a good sign right there, right? I think he's a very good receiver, right? If you're talking about what I'd be able to do with him out of the backfield coming in a receiver, I think I'd be able to use him into some receiver routes. I definitely think I'd be able to use him into some receiver routes. Maybe not off rip. Maybe we can start slow, but I think he has the potential, dog, where I keep continuing. Oh yeah, dog. I'm gonna line you up out there, and I think he'd be able to get busy. I think he'd be able to get busy on a different little route tree than we've talked about with some of these other guys, right? So that's a little part of this game that I think is untapped that I think he'd be able to go out there and really get busy with. Um, and again, had a workload, but missed no injury at his size. 5'11, 213, bro. Had a workload, but missed no injury. Love it when you see that. Now, some of the weaknesses, he is kind of upright when he does run, and at that size, bro, you're not 6 something. So that can get you in trouble. Pass protection is a weakness. Pass protection is a weakness right now. He has to anchor, right? He has to be better at the anchoring. When you're getting, again, the size, when you're getting more powerful guys coming at you, it's going to be a struggle to sit there and anchor. So, that's going to be a problem coming in initially. Now, I think he'd be able to go out there and run routes, but the hands aren't natural. So maybe there are times you might see some drops because he body catches, but he'd be able to run the routes. I think he can do that. But the thing is, he's elusive, but his contact balance isn't like everybody else in the class. It's not like everybody else in the class, right? Like, he does have contact balance. His quick step is cool, but there are more times than not, like, he's not going to run through contact or bounce off guys like everybody else in the class. He's probably not going to do all that. And sometimes, he can get a little dancy at times behind the line of scrimmage too. So there are times he can do that. But I think, if you use him sparingly, coming in, you don't have to use him 20, 25 times a game. He can do that. But I don't think you need to do that with him. Pair him up with somebody else, bro. Let him go to work. Let him be a third down back at times. Let him come in maybe sometimes on a second down. But yeah, I think he'd be able to carve himself a nice little role in the league, man. We're getting towards my final two people. So make sure you guys are hitting that like button and that subscribe button as well, man. Appreciate everybody for tapping in, man. My final 2 running backs, we sitting here, man. My 9th, Taj Brooks from Texas Tech, right? I really, really, really like Taj Brooks. I really like Taj Brooks. And these 2 at the final are sort of personal picks, right? They're sort of personal picks for me because I like, these are guys that I just watched and I really like their running style. Now, Taj Brooks is another guy for me that I think can carve himself a nice little role too. He's 5'9", 214, but he's hella quick for his size, dog. Hella quick for his size. I think that compact frame, again, like a lot of these other guys, helps him. It helps him for being as quick as he is laterally at times. I think his jump cut is crazy. He has a crazy jump cut, and that plays into the lower center of gravity, not able to waste a lot of movement, shifting from hole to hole, right? And at the same time, the contact balance, man. I mean, he's a bowling ball. He's a little muscle hamster. So he's a bowling ball. He's not really going to take contact and just go down. I think he has very good vision. Again, we talked about some of the cutback ability he has. He's able to see some of those cutbacks at a real impressive and consistent rate. To me, I've seen him multiple times. He's able to right to left, left to right. He's able to do that, and he's gliding, right? He's gliding. I really, in tight quarters, bro. It must be when you're small and compact, because he's able to move the feet, and he's not really stopping them to a point, right? Like, when he's able to move laterally and he continues, bro, that he's going forward, right? So if I am jump cutting, if I am cutting, I'm always going forward, trying to do that, keeping my low center of gravity, really not losing speed as I go through, right? So I really like the way he does that, bro. I really do. Now, ball security, again, only 5 fumbles on 879 career rushing attempts. 879. So that shows right there the ball security in a nutshell. I like that as well. I'm always highlighting that, bro, because that's a big thing for me. Always got to highlight that. He has that leg drive that I kind of didn't talk about with Devin Neal, that he kind of has, where he is going to drive his legs, try to use that power, try to fall forward. He's going to do that. Now, reason he's below Devin Neal is because his route tree, I don't think, is the same as Devin Neal's. He's a good receiver, but traditional running back, right? Traditional running back receiving role where Devin Neal, we might be able to expand that, right? We can expand that a little bit. He pass protects. He pass protects. He is going to go ahead and stick his nose in there and try to lay a motherfucker down in the pass protection. So that's another guy right here, man, where I'm like, okay, has a smaller frame, but puts the willingness in there to do it. And I love it, right? I love that. Now the thing with him is he doesn't have the breakaway speed, right? I think Devin Neal's a little bit faster. Taj don't really have that breakaway speed like that. He's more of a chunk runner. He's gonna get him in chunks. His when he overthinks at times, sometimes he gets too dancy back there, and now he starts overthinking when, like I just said, when he presses the hole and he's naturally just cutting and making his gliding cuts, he's nasty with it. But sometimes he can overthink, man, and get to dancing like some of the other guys in this class as well, man. A lot of punishment. A lot of punishment. We talked about it with Scatterbo. We talked about it with Devin Neal. We talked about it with Ashton Genty, bro. He has a lot of wear and tear. Not saying he has injury, but he was asked to do a lot. He was asked to do a lot at Texas Tech. 633 touches over the final 2 seasons. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot of touches, bro. It's a lot. And he runs physical. So is there wear and tear on that? Again, we talked about the route tree, bro. So the route tree limited. Doing running back stuff. We're not doing all that extra. I think, but seeing this here, man, I don't see a lot of people talking about Taj, but I really like Taj and what he can offer, man. I think he'll carve himself a nice little role too. Now, am I saying the three down, 20-25 carry back? No. But if he does end up doing that, that's his high end. But being able to be a 2-down back, yeah. I can see that for sure. Being able to be a 2-down back. So last but not least, man, my last running back of the show. If you haven't hit the like button already, please do so. If you have not hit the subscribe button and you done made it all the way to the 10th running back in the show, what you waiting on? Please, if you're feeling what you're hearing, please hit the subscribe button. We are on the way to 3K subscribers, right? Before the season ends. And once we hit that 3K, we are going to be doing a Geno Smith jersey giveaway, man. So tell a friend to come holler at the rundown, man, and join us here as we continue to talk that good football talk, as y'all know, man. So last running back of the day. Roll call, please, man. And again, this personal preference. I just like Buddy. I think nobody talks about him. Nobody says anything about him. Some of my guys know where I'm going, but nobody says anything about this dude. And when I watch him, I try to figure out what I'm missing and why I think he might, why I think people don't think he might not work in the league, but I think he will. And that is Khalil Mullins from Michigan. Dog, I think this dude's not being talked about enough. And the reasoning for it is I think this running back class is so deep, is so loaded that you're going to get guys that just fall to the wayside, right? You're just going to get guys that fall to the wayside and they're not going to really be talked about like that. And I think this is one of them guys, man. I think this is one of them guys. Now, when I go through this profile with you, I want you to preface this, and I haven't showed clips for any of these guys, right? Just in case I get popped. But this is the dude right here I'll show clips for. 6'2", 226, right? Former linebacker as well. Now the 40 speed will hurt at a 4.62, right? That's what he ran. But dog, I think he's not being talked about enough, man. The frame already alone constitutes I can maybe have a 3-down back here, right? Frame already constitutes that. Short yardage situations, bro, he's going to move the pile. Consistently move the pile. 2 yards is 5 yards. 5 yards is 8 yards, so on and so forth, right? I think being a former linebacker and you see the way he runs, you're like, bro, he has that running back feel, right? He has that running back feel. Pad level is very good for his size, bro. Being 6'2", he knows how to get them things down there. I think he knows how to get his pads down there. Consistently looking for that contact too, bro. He consistently is seeking out people to deliver the punishment to. And where I'm impressed too is not a lot of guys that are just going to just bring him down off first contact, right? First contact is not a lot of guys that's just going to bring him down. And he consistently drives his legs, bro. Being 226, being almost 230, bro, when you got a guy that's consistently going to drive his legs like that, you're going to bounce off a lot of tackles when it comes to DBs, safeties, and things of that nature. Or guys that just don't tackle well, right? I think has more foot speed and quickness than being given credit for the size, bro. Being as quick as he is, you wouldn't think he has the sort of quickness that he does, right? But it surprises you on film for how light on his feet he is at that size, bro. Pass protection is good. I better have that good pass protection. Right now, again, he can get better at recognizing blitzes and things of that nature. I think, but playing the position, it will get better. But yeah, bro, I think he's a very good pass blocker, very willing, and he's going to deliver not only pass blocks, but he's going to try to lay a motherfucker on his ass. So that's what I like as well. Ball security. Big for me again. Very good ball security, bro. And then if I'm seeing his technique, bro, I love when I see him in the open field. I see him switch the ball, and it's there. It's high and tight, right? Little things, bro, but I love seeing that. His one cut, when he decides where he wants to go and he makes that cut, that acceleration is nasty, right? Again, at that size, you see that locomotive, boom, make that cut, and he's coming downhill like that. Not many people want to get in that way. You're going to have to drop down, get the legs. But then at that point with a dude, like I said, with a dude that's this big, if I'm moving them legs like that and I'm churning, I'm going to create big plays off of that, right? I'm going to create big plays off of that. Now, I think there are some intricacies he can have from playing the position, right? Again, former, so he's not like I've been playing running back my whole life. But if he continues, I think there's something here, man. I think there's something here. Now, this is one example of what I'm talking about with the leg drive, bro. One example. If I'm looking here, right? Boom, gets it here. Already nice, right? I already like what I see. Boom. Continues to move the pile. Driving the legs. Now, doesn't have the long speed. But look how he switches the ball. See, it's little things for me, dog. It's little things for me. And we watch it again. It's the little things for me. Boom, acceleration through. Love moving through the contact, bro. That's keeping the leg drop. That one run right there embodies kind of what I'm talking about with this dude, bro. And there's multiple runs like this. Multiple runs where he's just keeping his feet moving, keeping the legs driving, dog. And just making something happen. So I think Mullings has, if I know nobody's talking about him, I get it. Nobody's talking about him. But I think he has, if he gets in a situation where somebody believes in him, he can fuck around and be nice, bro. I really do think he can be nice. And I know nobody, it might be 10. You got Baisho Tootin and Dylan Sampson and all these guys. I get it. But this is my personal preference. You feel what I'm saying? This is my personal preference. And if I'm looking at a running back, I want my running back 6'2", 220, running through tackles and running through motherfuckers' faces. Yes, that's my personal preference. So for me, I think if he gets in the right situation, bro, and somebody believes in him like that and somebody takes him, you might be able to get this man undrafted. Take him. I think he has the ability to be nice, bro. I really do. Now, again, he don't have long speed. We just saw it right here. You don't have long speed. So that's one thing that's a negative. We didn't really see him receiving, and shout out to my guy Chris, man. And I asked, you ask him a lot of questions, but he's behind, Donovan Edwards and all of that. And you don't really see him, really catch the ball like that. So we really don't know what he is, right, as a receiver. Now, sometimes that this comes with playing the position, relies on the power, doesn't really feel it and anticipate certain things, but that comes with being intricate with the position, feeling it. So I think he's displayed enough to say, all right, bro, if he continues to hone on this and work on this, he'd be able to have more feel on it, right? Now, when you got to, some of the carries that you saw, it's like you could say he didn't have that much production going in, but we have to remember, bro, he didn't coming in, bro. We all talked about Donovan Edwards going into that Michigan season. At the end of the season, this man was the starter, getting majority of the reps, finishing games. He finished that Ohio State game, right? So I think that's big for me, bro. And the fact he wasn't invited to the combine, travesty, in my opinion. Not invited to the combine, barely seen him in all these things. So I think there's room to get him in the undrafted circuit. Yeah, man, I think in the right system, bro. Believed in Khalil Mullins and saying like, all right, bro, I see you got some more time to grow at running back, just to be a running back. I see some shit there, man. I see some shit there. But that's just me, man. Those are my 10 running backs, man, that I feel are the nicest in the 2025 draft, man. But y'all let me know down below. How do y'all feel about these running backs, man? How do y'all feel about the list? Where would you change it? Right? Who do you like on the list? Where do you like them ranked? Let me know, bro. This is again, this is opinion-based list. Again, just of my eye test, what I've seen, what I've watched and studied. So definitely would like to have that nice discussion down below, man. So without further ado, man, make sure you guys are continuing to tap on that like button, tap on that subscribe button. We are but we're going to be going live throughout the week, right? Probably going to be doing a mock draft, and not only just a mock draft, a fan mock draft. So gonna let y'all go ahead and help me with the picks, man, and make the picks. We definitely gonna do that and do more of these position rankings as the draft season or just draft approaches, right? So make sure you guys are tapping on all the buttons, and y'all already know, man, what I say here on the rundown, man. We keep it authentic from the clouds to the ground here on the Raider Rundown. Y'all keep it easy, and I will see y'all next time, man.